Hello everyone, my name is PaperNapkin and welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Final Fantasy 1. In the last episode we went through a shitload of lava to get to the bottom of this volcano, and honestly I forgot to point this out, but when you're walking on the lava you can't come across random encounters, which kind of tells you that the enemies are smart enough to stay off the lava and yet we're not. But it's actually a pretty good strategy because while the lava does damage to you, it can't actually kill you. So you can just take the lava roots and make quick work of this dungeon pretty much. Though just keep in mind, it can reduce your hit points down to 1, so heal often rather than not heal at all, because you probably will pay the price. In the last episode, I kind of mentioned how there's some treasure down here worthwhile getting. As you can see, the room kind of splits off into 8 different paths, each of which has its own little room, though they do all kind of connect in a circle. The 3 rooms to the right each have a treasure chest in it, but it has the same treasure. And what I mean by that is, if you get the item in one of the chests, it won't be in the other one, and it's just a soft potion. And actually, it's the soft potion from the level above, so if you already got it, those chests will be empty. So there's actually only one treasure worth getting, and it's in the path here to the left, so let's go get that one now. And trust me, it is definitely worth picking up. So if we come into here, you can see there's some nice candles, which is kind of suggesting that it is really worthwhile. Now, if you step one below, we're gonna come across a fixed encounter with another Agama, which is nothing to worry too much about. Just take it out as quickly as possible. And you're probably thinking, oh, well, that's pretty easy. That's all we have to do to get the treasure. Well, actually, not quite. And you'll see what I mean in just a second. If we can take this thing out. Very nice. Love those experience points. But yeah, it's not that easy. If you actually step to the right here, we come across a fixed encounter with a red dragon. Now this is one tough mofo to say the least. He has some really powerful fire type attacks, as you would imagine, which can end up doing more than like 70 damage to each character. So I definitely recommend using anti-fire if you have some spell charges. Luckily I do have a lot, and hopefully I can get it off before he uses any of those spells. And, oh nice, he didn't cast it, but he still ended up doing 74 damage, but just to one character, so that's actually a good thing. Now, these guys are also weak to ice, though I probably wouldn't exploit that weakness just because, as you can see, we took him out pretty easily. And he didn't actually use any of the fire spells, so that's not that much of a problem then. And that was crazy amount of gold. But for defeating him, we get the flame armor, and this item is spectacular. I love it so much. I love it even more than the steel armor, and I'll show you why. If we take a look at paper, we have an absorb of 58 and an evade of 28. Now, if we go and give him the flame armor, we now have an absorb of 58, which is what we had before, but now our evade is 51, so that's nearly double, which is just crazy. I mean, if you don't want to use the flame armor, I honestly don't know why you wouldn't. You can sell it for a lot of money, but I just keep it. And later on, if you have a thief, after they've gone through the kind of job transformation, they can equip the flame armor. So even after your fighter is done with it, it's probably a good idea to hold on to it. Now that we're done with this, we can go on and take the Fire Fiend to hell, even though we're in a volcano. So let's go and do that. And to get to the Fire Fiend, it's actually just a short walk away if the random encounters will leave me alone. Let's take the lava. Well, we don't have any choice, you have to walk on the lava. Just come down here to the southwest room and we'll be coming across the shrine and the orb. So let's just heal up before we take this on. I've got some heal potions. Probably could use my spell charges since I'm pretty much full up on it, but that should be good. I'm feeling pretty confident. So let's do this. Is it you, the Tinder that defeated the Fiend of the Earth? Why, yes it is. I'm the guy that took him out. And apparently we disturbed the sleep. Kary will now show you the force of fire, and you shall burn in its flames. Ooh, so intimidating. This is the Fire Fiend, Kary, which is actually a mistranslation, a really bad one at that. I think the actual name is Merilith, or something like that. It's been corrected in the remakes, but how they got Kary, I have no idea. Kary's pretty tough. She's about 600 hit points, but that's not the big thing. She's got 6 arms, so that actually means she can hit you 6 times with her physical attacks, and that can do a crap load of damage, so make sure you're always healed up if you're not doing damage. So I'm going to fight with my fighter. I can actually cast fast on my fighter, actually, and fight, and since we're on a volcano and this is a fire fiend, not surprising, Kary will use fire type attacks, so set up an anti-fire. Hopefully we'll get it off before she does any damaging spells. And really her physical attack's what you want to look out for after you have the anti-fire on, just because even with good armor on your characters, she'll be hitting for like 100, 150, which is just crazy. And there's fire too, so good thing we got that anti-fire. Everything's going according to plan. And let's cast a fast on Pancake. Yeah, that should be good. And at this point, I guess we'll just do a preemptive heal too. Got a feeling this is gonna hurt. And wow, 162, that's awesome. And 26, so Pancake's not doing so much. And whoa, 6 hits, 111 damage on the fighter with 50 something absorb. So imagine if that hit one of your other characters. That would have been devastating. I actually think Kary is probably the hardest of the 4 fiends relative to your level. Because I mean, like later on, they are going to be stronger than what Kary is now, but we'll be so much stronger ourselves that we should be able to take them out pretty easily. And another 109 damage, oh my goodness. I'm actually getting pretty lucky. If she were to hit my other characters, I'd just be toast by now. Alright, everyone's got fast on. Kary should be coming close to dying. Because I think I've done like 400 or 500 damage by now. So let's just go all out. Maybe Hope will get the kill. Come on, Hope. Ah, damn. That would have been so cool. And still not there. Wow. And Dark. Well, that's pointless. As you'll recall, Darkness actually doesn't affect our hit percentage or whatnot, so nothing to worry about. And there we go. We defeated Kary. Yes! No casualties, which is always a bonus. Good experience points, some pretty good gold. And just like that, I get interrupted by a random encounter right after defeating the Fiend, which is starting to turn into a common occurrence, and I really hope that ends sooner rather than later, because that's kind of annoying. Yeah, as I was saying, we bring light back to the second orb. As you can see, it's now shiny, shiny, and we can exit this volcano, finally. Never have to come back here again. So next up, we want to head back to Crescent Lake. We can sell some equipment, rest up, restock on potions and whatnot, and then we can kind of continue on with our adventure. Sounds pretty good to me, don't you think? Yeah. Alright, I'll see you over there now. Now that we're back at Crescent Lake, you're probably thinking, you know what, Paper? We should probably go talk to those sages. They might know where we need to go next. But you know what? They don't. I know they told us that we're supposed to go back and check in with them every now and then, and they'll kind of point us on where we're supposed to go next, but they don't actually do it this time. What you want to do, after you sold off all your equipment, restocked your items and whatnot, you actually want to come up here to a guy that we saw before. He was actually kind of sleepwalking, as we kind of determined before, but he's actually awake now, and he'll let us know that for 10 years he was probing around for the floater. And I don't like how they use the word probe in conjunction with floater, but whatever. And he used the canoe to the north to the ice cave, and that's a really weird sentence to say. Wow, bad grammar. But that's pretty much the indication of where we want to go to next, the ice cave. And I know I said this about pretty much every dungeon we've come across thus far, but the ice cave is definitely my least favorite, just because there is a heck of a lot going on in terms of enemies, in terms of enemy skills. And it's arguably the hardest dungeon to get through, just because there's so many ways you can die, pretty much. But I'll talk about all those later on. At this point, make sure you sell your equipment that you don't need, restock up on potions. As you can see, I have 135,000 gold, which is just crazy. I could buy level 6 spells, or some of them, but I don't have any charges just yet, so I'm going to hold off onto that. So I'm just going to have a lot of gold by the time we actually need to spend it. But I think for now, how much time do we have? I think this is a good place to end this episode. In the next episode of Let's Play Final Fantasy 1, we're going to head over to the ice cave, and hopefully we won't get raped too badly. Until then, my name is PaperNapkin. Take it easy, folks.